Hello, hello, I am Day9 from Day9.tv, and this is the GeForce SC2 Pro-Am brought to you by NVIDIA. In the bottom left corner, we have none other than 6Jax Vibe, the man who is known for high APM, and weirdly, though, he's being seemingly dwarfed by a man known as none other than StarTales... known as none other than StarTales Ace. That is right, Sivo Na is one of the tournament admin accounts because Ace needs to play on the North American server for these games. So this is indeed Ace himself, the man who won the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship, using a lot of very brilliant Colossus timing pushes, and 6Jax Vibe is just known as your very, very solid standard Zerg with lightning-fast hands. And it looks like Ace is going to be beginning here on Shakura's Plateau by planting down a pylon to prepare for an early expand. Vibe, though, it looks like, is going for an Extractor Trick after Overlord. I got a little excited because lately we've been seeing players go Extractor Trick before Overlord. A fairly uncommon play, but still is allowing a lot of cool variation for all the opening stages, doing a lot of very neat spawning pool, fast aggression, doing some very cool fast roach play. Either way, we see Ace is poking around here, sees nothing out of the ordinary right now. There is the spawning pool going down. This used to be a very typical time for spawning pool, but it's increasingly becoming either late or early. Early if you wanted to go for a fast hatch, or late. That's actually not how I want to say that at all. This is just becoming less common, all right? Just listen to me. Jeez. So you see Ace now continuing to scout around with the probe. He wants to make sure he can actually get up his Nexus first. This is actually a very risky play. Getting down your Nexus is a very, very big risk. You have to have lightning sharp eyes. I don't even know if eyes can be as sharp as lightning, but that's what they need to be with this one scouting probe, not only checking for the spawning pool timing, but also counting the larva, making sure that not too many units will be popping up. And will Vibe be able to get it down? Oh, Ace! Oh my god, the probe stubbed his toe on the way there. He tripped, had to tie his shoelace, but it was all in vain. As we do see the Expo was up. Forge now going down for Ace. Big reason why this is such a huge risk is that you first have to plant a Forge, then build a cannon, and you have to plant down the additional gateway to form the block. So often Protoss players get themselves in a lot of sticky situations, but fortunately for our Protoss player Ace, he did manage to scout the correct direction first. We see out of Vibe, no gas yet. Ace is still continuing to do poking and prodding. He's really asking, do I need to build a very early third gateway for a complete wall off? It would be very nice if he could get away without it, and he's doing this by counting the probes at the front. Excuse me, counting the Zerglings at the front with his probe. Vibe now, with his first two Zerglings out, is continuing to queen up. We don't see any gas yet, so it is likely that Vibe is going to be doing the Spanishiwa style no gas at all. The Beano Zerg, because there's absolutely no gas. Assimilator is going down for Ace, just preparing for a typical transition after his cybernetics core begins. I'm really curious to see what Ace is going to be doing, though, because we have seen a lot of brilliant Colossus push timings from Ace. Destiny mauled Ace last week, though, when an early Colossus push was attempted. We've seen those go out of style, and into style has been more gateway-heavy mixtures, a lot more Stargates. And look at this, we actually see that there's a big space on the other side of this cybernetics core. That is very unusual, unless he's going to be going for a big gateway play. Gateway's very, very populoso these days. There's all the geysers going to be thrown down, or I guess both of them. Vibe actually doing some very interesting timings with this. In the unit counting station, we see just two queens out. Vibe actually a little bit behind on that larva inject, 5 energy behind. Still very crisp, but just unusual given his lightning fast speed. And a fast third by Vibe, so he's playing it out in a fairly typical fashion, but accelerating the pace of this third base by delaying these two geysers for so long. One evolution chamber is up now, so we can begin building any sort of spore crawler that he so needs. And it looks like Ace might be aware of this and may throw down a stalker, try to put pressure, poke, scout, because if you see a geyser start, you know that for the next 2.5 to 3 minutes, there's no way Zergling speed can possibly be finished. So your stalkers can move relatively unabashedly through the center of the map. third hatchery, about halfway finished at this point in time. No fourth yet for Ace, and or the Stalker. Yeah, who cares about timings? If there's an Overlord flying in your base, you build the thing that can shoot the thing flying in your base. Boom, pro gamer, no problem. We do have another Overlord from Vibe, now positioning itself to suicide in, also doing just a little bit of management here just in case some Blink Stalkers try to pop down, can get a little more info. We do see there are the additional gateways going down, but will he make any additional ones? We do see that there's some Chrono Boost on the Warp Gate, a +1 attack upgrade en route, a Roach Warren also in production for Vibe, and per usual, the very, very fast +1 melee upgrade, a useful tool in defending versus those large sentry-oriented armies. But I actually think that Ace is going to be going for a fast third. That's what looks right, given these numbers and given the timing. He has quite a bit of money stockpiled up and just not that many units. We see almost all sentries right now. And if you were getting 5, 6, 7 gateways, it would be very clearly a two-base timing push. But we see the probe now moving down. Will it begin heading down to that third base? I am very intrigued. Whoa! We do see a Twilight Council now going down for Ace. I really want to keep the watchful eye on this expansion. Ace just has a huge amount of money that he is not spending yet. And it looks like now is going to be the time for Vibe to begin that unit production. We see the 2 Spine Crawlers are down. Queen continuing to lift up her skirt, dropping those creep tumors. More Spine Crawlers going up for Vibe. Vibe looks like he's going to take an interestingly defensive stance at this point in time. Generally, players will favor lots of Roaches, lots of Zerglings, trying to overrun the Protoss army. But instead, we are seeing a Spine Crawler-focused defensive positioning, trying to wait for the Protoss to come here and locking him down. Do we see units being produced up at the north? Yes, more Roaches, no Zerglings at this point in time, however. Ace has still not yet moved. Is he just waiting for that +1 attack to finish? I mean, it's just now done. And +2 immediately starts. A wall off by Ace. No intentions of a third. Very weirdly timed. Incredibly weirdly timed. And now a Robo Facility going down. This is Bonkerville. I'm honestly a little bit of a loss as to what Ace's goal is here. He's obviously protecting this third from a good angle, but just not taking it. And with only 4 gateways, there's just not that many units. So we do see another hatch in the main, a macro hatch from Vibe, 1 hatch at the top. Vibe is now intending on making predominantly Zerglings should an attack come. If you have this many hatches, you're going to have a lot of larvae, but not that much money. The best way to spend it is to burn through on a ton of Zerglings, and it looks like Vibe is going for the most, or excuse me, Ace is going for the most delayed 2-base timing push you will ever see in your entire life. It's going to focus on the +2 attack upgrade with Blink. Ace is slowly building up a bigger and bigger force, but this is a way mondo late push in production. We see no more probes getting produced at all. He's hit the amount of probes he wants. He is at 53, a little bit more than your usual opponent. But with the Infestation Pit en route, Vibe could quite possibly shut this down. A big spring of Spine Crawlers would shut this down. Big constant production of Zerglings would shut this down. There's a lot of ways that you can lose this as Ace. And there's the blink forward. Ugh, missing the creep tumor. Finishes just seconds before he blinks forward. And there's the Chrono Boost. We do see that the +2 is done. And it looks like the timing for Ace is now. And he's moving forward, getting the Robo. He has the Observer up. This is a very weird timing. This is, I dare say, very all-in. This is one of the most all-in styles I've seen Ace ever use. I mean, completely not attempting to even take the third. We do see that the natural expansion has a decent amount of minerals, but the main's running a little bit dry. Continuing to pylon his way forward, playing it very nice and slow. A lot of Zerglings coming out. Vibe waiting to get into a good position. Picking off one of the pylons. That's going to help a ton. There's the Spine Crawlers there, and oh no! It looks like Ace might be able to get up into a great position. We see most of the Zerglings get caught behind Vibe, dealing some damage from the backside, but being forced to pull back. We see 12 Roaches in production right now. Now going in for a second attempted push. Ace with the nice force fields. Vibe let him get into the wrong spot too easily. And now Vibe is caught on the wrong side of the battle. Ace still needs to win with this push or do incredible damage to be okay. Cannot emphasize how big of a risk this is to have delayed that third by that long. But right now, Ace is looking to be in a good position. He's not actually going to go encroach up on that top left base. He's going to let a small pack of Stalkers take care of it. Meanwhile, the Roach-Ling army from Vive didn't really have anywhere to go. I mean, there's no vulnerabilities for Ace. Ace just does not have a third base taken yet. And I really think Vive is getting a few too many Roaches. Mainly Roaches, not that many Zerglings. Now trying to sneak around this pillar in the center. Going to have to poach far and hard to the right. We see all the hatcheries from Vive churning out Zerglings and Infestors. If they get in a good position, Ace can get botched hard. Infestors still not finishing the unit station. We see the 2 are on the field at this point. Trying to get into a good position. There they are at the backside. Now moving up. And we see a nice fungal trapping most of the units on the ramp. But Ace managing to blink away just in time. Vibe always letting Ace up onto the high ground. Ace just having too huge of an army at too weird of a time. Units streaming in from all sides by Vibe. Zerglings now popping up into the fray. Health is getting increasingly lower for these Blink Stalkers, but with that +2 attack upgrade, these Stalkers are so difficult to deal with, and there's the good game. Ace takes the win with a big push, and as we can see, he hasn't even left the game. He's just sitting here enjoying the act of destroying these bases. I mean, this has been a very, very brutal push. But again, this is a little bit of a risk, showing a little bit of weakness as one of those top Korean pros. I mean, if we pop back to the main, we see very low on minerals. If we pop back to the expansion, getting pretty low on minerals. In the unit counting station, not a single additional observer was built. Yeah, the amount of stalkers was just incredible. But it means that if Vibe can plan a little better, position himself a little more strong, and get those infestors up, he could begin crushing these pushes. Either way, Ace is up 1-0. Let's pop into Game 2 to see if Ace can close out the series or whether Vibe has a comeback in store.